Welcome to Goal Outlet, your guide to entrepreneurship and digital marketing with your host, Mike McDermott. Goal Outlet dishes up killer growth hacking strategies from today's small business movers and shakers. Find out more at goaloutlet.com. Thanks for listening.
Good morning, everybody. This is Mike McDermott with the Goal Outlet, where we are setting your goals and realizing them. So, hey, I just wanted to create this really quick update to our GDPR podcast from earlier in the week. So today is May 25th, so this is the first day of the GDPR compliance here. In the U.S., we've seen quite the flurry of emails in your inbox as everyone is furtively updating their privacy policies and updating their terms of service. Then we also saw tons of wackiness this morning, right? So dozens of websites actually shut down their activities, and most of them doing so with geo-blocks. So large newspaper organizations like the New York Post and the LA Times, they went and shut down their websites by geo-blocking. So they basically said if you exist in any of those 28 EU countries, including UK, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, if you exist in any of those countries, we're just going to shut the site down. You're not going to be able to see anything because we haven't quite wrapped our hands around what this situation is, what's going on here, and how we should be treating your data. And I think that's a real big highlight, I think, is that these news organizations have been asking people to subscribe to their newspapers digitally. I'm sure they have quite a large quantity of residents in the EU that have subscribed. And, who knows what they're doing with their data, who they were selling it to, what kind of strings came attached to the data. And because they weren't sure or how to even phrase it or how to put it out there, they just shut the sites down. So now, if you go in there and you're in the U.S. and you want to try it out, just go in and on your proxy firewall, just go and set an EU country and then go and try and surf the web, see what all comes up, see what doesn't come up. This is the biggest update in data protection law since the 1990s. And everyone had been kind of willing that it wasn't going to happen, but it actually did. So, how are positive businesses kind of framing themselves around GDPR? I can tell you that when you visit our website now, you're probably going to get this crazy little banner at the top that says, hey, we just expect that you like cookies, so we're going to continue giving them to you. Here, click this button if you decline. It's really funny. If you go out to NPR's website this morning, NPR, if you decline the cookies, what they do is they take you to a text-only version of their website, right? So no images, no banners, no tracking code, nothing. It really looks like you've been transported back into the late 80s, early 90s on the internet over at NPR. So kudos for the humor and the responsiveness, right, of NPR's news organization. So they were totally on this situation. Other things we've seen today is we've seen AOL. Remember those guys that distributed those CDs back in the day and eventually DVDs because the program got to be so bloated. People installed it on their computers, and then they had the AOL client, and the dial-up worked and stuff like that, and you really didn't know kind of what you did, but AOL provided you with the internet. It delivered it to your front door, and you delivered tons and tons and tons of information into AOL. So AOL basically as a as a partner now, or not an affiliate, but actually owned with Yahoo this morning. Asked users about their data, and they basically said, hey, if you're using the AOL system, we want to personalize and measure ads that are given to you. And when you clicked, okay, thank you, I understand, you were taken to a page that basically showed you over 100 ad sites that were buying the data and using the data that was provided by users in AOL Yahoo, right? So that's pretty incredible. They basically had to pull back the curtain and say, hey, more than 100 companies got your data. Hope you didn't mind. Hope you enjoyed that internet access. Hope you enjoyed that experience inside the walled garden. Facebook also updated their systems today. If you go on to the desktop client, you'll be logging in, and they'll say, we'd like you to just go over your privacy settings, right? One of the little zingers I found in the current situation was the face recognition, right? So I think everyone's really okay with and enjoys facial recognition in Facebook because it will actually allow you to auto tag yourself within pictures. And then of course, what else is done with that facial recognition data? Well, Facebook shared today that we use this as a defense mechanism to create, and people that create bot networks on our network, right? So we're using the information that you gave us about your facial recognition, about all the data about your face. And if someone creates a bot account with your image on it, it's going to know it's you and not somebody else, right? So say I authorized facial recognition in Facebook. Someone stole a picture off of my profile with my face and placed it under another account, create a new account, and called it Bob Smith, right? And so Bob Smith's going to go in and say stuff and do stuff using my face, right? And so Facebook says, well, hey, we're protecting you. We're protecting your personal image we're going to shut that account down because we know it's not Mike McDermott. We know it's not him because of the facial recognition, right? So I'm protecting your interests by collecting that facial recognition data. One of the other things that they shared was that all of the stuff is automatically captured, right? So you're actually automatically capturing yourself in everything, every image that you're in on your profile, and every image you're in your friends' profiles. Elsewhere on the internet, too. Oh, you didn't know that? So, so they're collecting that data, and that facial recognition data is distributable. So they basically said, hey, do you want us to continue collecting that facial recognition? And you can say no now. And you really, need to consider your options there if you're going to continue using the Facebook program for social media. So, GDPR has been a really interesting thing. I think I really hope as a web designer that these banners at the top of websites that I really think are super tacky go away. Most of the GDPR emails that I've received in my inbox are absolutely unnecessary, right? I sent out a necessary one, legally necessary to be sent out to clients, informing them of the information that we have on them and that we use for them and in support of them. And then also a generalized update to our privacy policy, which is a requirement as well. But one of the types of emails that I've seen, which is really unique, is the double opt-in email, right? So this is like, we've been emailing you. We're not quite sure if we have been compliant in emailing you before. privacy-wise. So we're just going to email you again and ask you if you would like to continue receiving our emails, right? So it's kind of funny, right? So you send out an email, and you always give them the opportunity to opt in or opt out. And the people that receive the emails and don't click unsubscribe, you expect that they want to stay on your list. So this is like another opt-in way, and it's really an unnecessary email that people are sending out. It's kind of like a knee-jerk reaction. Maybe they thought that they needed to, or maybe their friend told them that they needed to, but really it's sort of unnecessary to go in and do that because, what are the chances of them actually taking action on that? You have no idea. You should, as a marketer, as a small business, you should be emailing these folks, once a month anyways, right? So if they're getting an email once a month from you, you should be totally okay with that opt-in strategy. If they don't want to see it, they can throw it in their spam box. They can unsubscribe. They can punch the spam button on your email. They can do all kinds of things. So it's really unnecessary to send out this double opt-in email to folks. So it's kind of interesting. We've seen a lot of things go on. What I like to see are companies that have provided good and very clear privacy strategies from day one. They haven't had to do anything. But then we've got these other companies like newspapers that absolutely, are outside of the privacy square. They have no idea who's accessing or using the data of the people that they store and share. So they have to shut their sites down. So we'll see how that works for them. If I'm a subscriber in Spain and, my $99 US subscription to the LA Times no longer is working for me, I'm going to have a problem with that. And so, now these folks are going to have to scramble around and figure out exactly, how they want to deal with the privacy of their subscribership. So just wanted to drop this little quick update for GDPR. I'm sure we're going to have more in the future, but we're going to change the subject next Goal Outlet. We're going to be covering something other than a restriction. We're going to start talking again about growth. So look forward to getting with you, setting your goals, and hitting them.